All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to Verses and Vibes, episode 13. Last week I said we were on episode 11. It was actually episode 12. TT corrected me on that and I still need to go back and fix that on the thing, but this is episode 13, Bash.
13 episodes. We moving on down.
Yeah, we trucking along.
Yeah.
Um so I hope everybody had a great week and a great weekend. How about you? What did you do for Halloween? Oh, never mind. You were judging the
Slept.
talent show.
Yeah, I just telling you that night. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
fell asleep. But who won? I don't know.
Vincent, a guy named Vincent won. Sty
Vincent.
Magic
Okay.
got fourth place. Um,
Wow.
yeah, there, yeah. Sty Magic got fourth place. Mezzo got third.
Yeah.
Uh, JB got second, and then Vincent got first place.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, a lot of it depended on the audience, though. So we didn't like
Okay.
people were supposed to. Well, they were buying like super gifts,
Yeah.
uh, sending money to the mutual aim fund, and then voting in the poll. And so when it came time to vote in the poll, we didn't have a lot of participation in the voting in the poll.
Oh,
So yeah, but I think everybody that won deserved to win. And like I mean, every we did it was a hard competition.
they were
Everybody
really
that
good. I
performed,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
like there were
Yeah.
everybody that performed made it hard to vote. I was glad that I was not a judge with
Yeah.
this one. Even with Selena with her acting. Were you there when Selena did her acting?
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. I told her she needs to turn that into something. Like definitely need to see
Yeah.
her do that more. And then
Speaking of, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say this last thing. Like the fact that normally that live be popping with well over 900 to 1,000 people arguing the Bible
Yeah.
who have heard about this fundraiser to feed people in Congo, to feed people in Sudan, to feed people in Chad, to build houses, to build schools. We've talked about it for a month, right? And then like the questions that we ask on the live, why does your God not stop the evil that's being done in his name? Why doesn't your God feed the hungry, and they say it's not God's responsibility, it's humans. It's humans' free will allowing people to go hungry. It's humans' free will not feeding the hungry. And then they say atheists don't help. Atheists don't do anything. It's they say look up the organizations and see it's all Christians, it's all believers. But this
What's so
night,
funny?
it's very funny. I,
Yeah, you can look this up. Non-believing people are more charitable. You can look that up. That's not even a joke. Non-believing people are more charitable. There are more believers than non-believers, but dollar for dollar, non-believers are more charitable.
I believe that. I mean, and I think they showed it that night because like we went from 900 to 1,000 to during the talent show bash,
Mhm.
300 people. Like we never really got over 300 people during the fundraiser, right? The
Wow.
moment the fundraiser ended and we switched to the conversation about what God has done for the African diaspora, we get up to 500 viewers at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you want to use your charismatic words to try to convince somebody about
Yeah.
what your God does.
Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is.
I said I'm not gonna
Rand,
let it go.
I want to put you up on something. There is a show on Netflix, and this is free advertising for them. I just okay. There's a show on Netflix called Exploding Cats. Okay, random title, right? It's about God. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. God gets kicked out of heaven because he does something crazy, and he gets sent to Earth to like work his way back into heaven. But they sent him to Earth as a cat.
Oh wow.
It is phenomenal.
Oh, I gotta watch this.
It's so genius. Like the concept of it is just so genius.
Is it
They sent
new?
it.
Like this is his
Yes,
first
as
show?
this is my first time seeing it.
Okay.
It's relatively new, but he gets sent to Earth as a cat, and he's supposed to like help this family. And in order for him to get back into heaven, he has to help this family like get closer. It is phenomenal.
Oh
Phenomenal. Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
I
And
gotta check
like
it
they
out.
do all the they talk about like the problem of evil. And they do a lot of like a lot of the stuff that we talk about online. They kind of work it into the show. It seems like something that like Mezzo and Joel would come up with.
I
It's great.
gotta check it out.
It's
Let
great.
me
Yeah,
put
it's
my
great.
let me
Exploding
see
Cats. If you
this.
guys want to
I
just
feel
watch
like
it.
I look like a little kid with like a I don't know.
You look
Okay,
great. You
this is
look
better.
great.
Huh?
You look great. We on Genesis 22,
Yeah, 23.
23.
23. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right. All right. What's up to everybody in the chat? Thank y'all so much uh for coming back and supporting the live. Let's see. Okay. It made me put a whole thumbprint on there just to share my screen today. What in the world?
Wow.
I know that's crazy. All right, y'all ready?
Yep.
All right. Sarah lived 100. Okay, yeah. Sarah lived 127 years. This was the length of Sarah's life. And Sarah died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Abraham rose up from beside his dead and said to the Hittites, I am a stranger and alien residing among you. Give me property among you for a burying place so that I may bury my dead outside of my sight. The Hittites answered Abraham, Hear us, my Lord. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our burial places. None of us will withhold from you any burial ground for burying your dead. Abraham rose and bowed to the Hittites, the people of the land. He said to them, If you are willing that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat for me Ephron, son of Zohar, so that he may give me the cave of Machpelah,
Mhm.
which he owns. It is at the end of the field. For the full price, let him give it to me in your presence as a possession for a burying place. Now Ephron was sitting among the Hittites, and Ephron, is it Ephron or Ephron?
I'll
Ephron?
say Ephraim. I say Ephraim,
Ephron.
but yeah.
Okay. Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the Hittites of all who went into the gate of the city, No, my Lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. In the presence of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead. Then Abraham bowed down before the people of the land. He said to Ephron, and the hearing of the people of the Lord, If you only will listen to me, I will give the price of the field. Accept it from me so that I may bury my dead there. Ephron answered Abraham, My Lord, listen to me. A piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between you and me? Bury your dead. Abraham agreed with Ephron, and Abraham weighed out for Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the weights current among the merchants. So the field of Ephron and Machpelah, which was on the east of Mamre, the field with the cave that was in it, and all the trees that were in the field throughout its whole area passed to Abraham as a possession in the presence of the Hittites, in the presence of all who went in at the gate of his city. After this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, facing Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. The field and the cave that is in it passed from the Hittites into Abraham's possession as a burying place.
Okay. A couple things in this chapter I thought that were interesting. I mean, of course, it's a pretty simple story. You know, Abraham wants to bury Sarah. He tries to pay for it. They won't let him pay for it. Your money's no good here. 400 pieces of silver is a lot of silver, right? And they threw that around like it was nothing, right? But one of the things I thought that was really interesting about that was that it was 400 pieces of silver, or 400 shekels of silver, according to the current weight of silver.
Mm-hmm.
And what you this is kind of tangential. Um, you'll notice that later on when you get into like the into Leviticus, it'll say according to the sanctuary shekel. So like it'll be like 30 shekels of silver according to the sanctuary shekel,
Yeah.
or blah 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 blah. And there's another verse in Proverbs where it says that the Lord hates a false weight, right? And one of the reasons that you find this, of course, this is of course anachronistic. So now you know that this is not happening at the time. This is somebody, writing back to say, hey, we're telling you this story from the future, right?
Mhm.
It was according to the weight of that time, where it was currently at that time. But one of the things that ended up happening in Israel was kind of the beginning of inflation. Like inflation, people would take shekels and then they would melt them down and add other dross metals to them, which are lighter materials, and so the shekel wasn't as heavy as it used to be,
So they
right?
were cutting shekels.
Yeah, they were cutting the shekels, right? Um, and thus inflation began, right? Because let's say if I paid you 5 shekels a week, 5 shekels a week, and you would normally go and buy your groceries with those 5 shekels or whatever, and you used to be able to get, let's say 50 parcels of whatever, and now all of a sudden you can only get 45 or 43, right? Although you're making the same amount of money that you used to make, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't as heavy as it used to be, right? And thus, like inflation began, which is one of the reasons that this is one of the reasons that people began to get so poor in Israel, because they were making money. The people were working and they were being paid, but they were being paid in dross metals, and so the sanctuary would keep a shekel weight, a perfect shekel weight, right? Where they could lay your shekel against their shekel and find out, okay,
You don't cut
this,
this.
yeah, you can cut it, yeah. And that was I said it to say that the temple, and I know we're talking about Abraham, but that the temple kind of became the center for commerce, not just religious things, but like commerce things, legal things. It was the civic center, right? And so you start to see here two things I'm sure Abraham didn't have a deed for this property, right? No one had the deed that Abraham signed for the property. So this story is kind of like a living deed, right?
That's what. So somebody said this story responded to me at the beginning of what's happening to now, right?
Mhm.
When I had made a video just kind of explaining to people what was going on over there in the Middle East, and a young girl responded to me and was like, "Our father Abraham bought that land, and that the Bible is the deed to the
Living deed.
property."
Yep.
And but the crazy thing about it is that we know that a lot of this land did not actually exist until like the 7th century,
Right.
right? A lot of these
Well, the land
landmarks,
existed. The
uh,
people didn't necessarily. Yeah.
well,
The
the
land was.
city, the
Yeah.
cities, the named cities that he's
Yeah.
mentioning did not exist until like the 7th century, and so they're like there's not a way for Abraham to have actually paid for this. But I think it's interesting the way they're saying it, like it just goes with what we read last week and talked about last week, how the writer of the Genesis story is trying to weave Abraham into the the history for the North and the South, and kind of making Abraham a patriarch that kind of weaves them together and say, oh, Abraham was here, he was here, and he, put his footprint here. And so I think like this going back and forth of, let me pay you. No, you don't have to pay me. You're a prince. Like Abraham was nobody's prince. Like
Right.
why would this Hittite king just out of nowhere declare Abraham a prince? He had no throne to sit on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it feels like to me too, this was like a declaration to say, oh, even the Hittites knew the power of Yahweh and knew that Yahweh was God of all and Abraham was God's chosen. And so he's damn near calling Abraham the son of God, like saying, oh, you are a prince. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
like that type of declaration.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels like this is a way for them to say that they were all, that they already, you know, that they were allowed this land. You know what I'm saying? Like the deed,
Yeah.
like what you're saying. Like, yeah,
It's a living deed.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
one of those things where it's like I was listening to, I think I was watching a Myth Vision podcast or something. If y'all don't listen, you watch Myth Vision?
Mhm. I've seen them before, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching one of his episodes, and it was talking about like the existence of Moses and like the law, the Pentateuch as we know it, and he began to say like, for the most part, well, actually, you really don't even hear about Moses or Abraham until like 5th century, right? Like
Mhm.
out of all the documents you may find about like, you know, people or, you know, Hebrew dealings or whatnot, you don't find out about this character, Moses or Abraham. It's like the 5th, somewhere between the 3rd and the 5th century, right?
Mhm.
No one really knew about this law that everybody's talking about, blah, blah, blah. So it seems as though this is kind of anachronistically saying, you know, laying hold to something that kind of fictitiously making a company, right? What we call like a legal fiction, right? Like just, but not even quite a legal fiction. Well, maybe literally a legal fiction. Like you're saying, oh yeah, I own this from way back. Like you're saying, like this is a deed that I own from way back, even though, well, no, you don't. Like this person that you're saying that bought this just didn't even exist, right? Like
Hold
this,
on. Does it seem like the camera just got like really close to our faces?
it. Well, the screen went away. The share screen popped off. So
Oh, okay. I'm like, what the hell?
I thought you just took the yeah.
Okay.
That screen
Okay.
popped off.
Thank
Yeah. I thought you just did that. I thought you was like,
No,
okay,
I'm
so
like,
we're
what
not
the
reading
hell?
it.
Something looked different. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that would be different. Yeah. But yeah, so you know, so you're kind of like fictitiously going back and like laying hold to this land to say, okay, we have a right to this land because of this story, right? And I mean, when you think about it, that's what manifest destiny is. That's what
Hmm.
it's a lot of that. They go, oh, we have a right to this land because of this story, right? Even though this story isn't real, you're just saying it, and you're just making a claim that this happened, right? Like, yeah, we have no proof that that happened other than the fact that you're saying it, you know, 1,000 years post the fact.
Yeah. Don't you think it's kind of like weird that it's being allowed to be used that way illegally?
I mean, well, at this point, uh, the story is not being well, it's being used, but it's not the legal reason. The story isn't being used legally. The story is being used as propaganda to the people, right? To promote the people to do it. But like you couldn't go stand up in the court of law and say, hey, this.
I mean, they were given the land because of that, though, right?
Well, kind of,
Because
kind of.
partial, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Again, that was a part of the
partial.
propaganda. The reason that they gave him the land was. I don't even want to get into that. Let me not do that. Let me not. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that because I feel like we'll get flagged.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. But this is where it all
yeah.
kind
This
of
is where all the story come from. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And then I don't think there's much else to this story other than the fact that okay, one more thing. Sarah is 127 years old, and this is the age she is when she dies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which means she died right after. Let me not say right. Let me say this. According to a Jewish tradition in the Midrash, she died right after Isaac was bound to the altar. Which means that Isaac was 27 years old. I mean,
Yeah, well,
37 years old.
37. Yeah,
37 years old when his mother died.
yeah. She's 127 when she died.
Yeah, she was 127.
127. Yeah, yeah. So he's
Hmm.
37.
Yeah, so he was 37 years old. And according to this tradition, she died of a broken heart because she found out what Abraham did.
Yeah.
And because Abraham didn't consult her.
Okay.
And so this rabbi argues that that's what killed Sarah.
It's so weird that like, well, not weird. Like we accept that as a rabbinic, you know, understanding,
Mhm.
right?
Well, I accept it as an argument, like a debate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just this rabbi says this thing, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it's like, well, where'd you get that from, Chief?
Right.
Right? Like, it's cool, but like, where'd you get that from? Like, or did you just weave that together? That's like, did you just weave that together from nowhere, out of thin nowhere, or was it like Was that
Well,
because not? I mean, not
they have
every rabbi
access to
said it.
other books that we don't. Because like sometimes in their rabbinic literature, they'll quote a different book that our Bible don't have,
Yeah,
right?
true.
And
But
so,
even if you read like the book of Jasher, that's not there. Like, which is like a supplementary book to Genesis, right? That's
mm,
not in Jasher or yeah. Like, where'd you get that from? Like, and at some point, somebody did make it up out of thin air. Fair enough.
yeah, yeah,
But
a lot of this is made up out of thin air.
yeah, like, but
Yeah.
who said that? Like, what? Like, who's sitting around going, Sarah died of a broken heart, right? You like what?
Well, I think so. In his argument, he was saying that, but there is a tradition that Yahweh went to the woman first and asked her to do it. She said no, and then she woke up and she saw that Abraham and Isaac was gone, and she immediately knew what Abraham was about to do. So then she
Yeah.
prayed to the God of the universe, which she prayed to El Elyon and
Mm-hmm.
asked El Elyon to protect uh, Isaac and to forgive Abraham. And then she cried out that a man that would sacrifice his son to a god, have neither a son or a god. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's a separate tradition that says, that Abraham actually did kill Isaac. We talked about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that it was two angels in the original story that guided Isaac's soul back to his body, and Isaac then talked about how death feels and how it um, quickens his body. And in that same rabbinic tradition, it talks about how immediately after when Abraham got back to his home, Sarah was dead and she had died of a broken heart. So it's just telling like that tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder where they got that from. Like, as a tradition, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah. That's just random. I just be wondering where people come up with it. Is that
There's
just
a
like fan fiction add-ons or like
Well, I think a lot of it is like remember we was on live last week trying to find where Adam went off on God about how he didn't like Eve, and like Eve's voice sounds like bones boiling in a pot, and like her perfume stinks. And he's like, I never asked you to make her. Like, I think these are just rabbis like,
popping off?
yeah, kind of like
Yeah.
commentary, like Christian
Yeah.
commentary, like Matthew Henry's commentary. Like a lot of his stuff doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you just
Um,
saying stuff.
I
You
know.
just yeah, you just
Yeah,
saying stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, yeah. That always interests me. Like it's just like where did you get that from? Like okay, you saying that, but are you just coloring in the story as you see fit? Does it have a paper trail? Because keep in mind, like I just said, like you don't find any hint of Abraham anywhere prior to like the 5th century, right? So whatever this story is, you just popping it off. You get what I'm saying? Like you just like this story. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we can follow this huge paper trail and kind of watch the evolution of it. Just kind of come up out of nowhere.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
the rabbi's name is Rabbi. Hold on, I just had his name. Rabbi Rashi.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his name.
Okay.
Yeah, but he said the reason it's a Hebrew word here. He says the reason the word is written at every term is to tell you that each term must be explained by itself as a complete number. At the age of 100, she was a woman of 20 as regards sin, for just at the age of 21 may regard as having never sinned, since she had not then reached the age when she was subject to punishment. So too, when she was 100 years old, she was sinless. And when she was 20, she was as beautiful as she was when she was 27. The word is replaced and without the number that indicate that they were all equally good. So early the next morning, Abraham saddled his ass and took to um hold on, I'm trying to find where he says I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to see where he said he got it from. See if I can see where he said. But I think they just take like random Hebrew words and be like, oh, this word means this, therefore it's meaning this. Like how Christians reinterpret
Yeah, yeah,
things. Yeah, that's what
yeah,
I think they do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, all right. My question, like the thing about that is like, if a thing is sacred, if a thing, let's say your forefathers or your ancestors, somebody that passed before you left you, I don't know, a piece of jewelry, right, a ring or a necklace. I wouldn't alter that. I wouldn't, right? Because it was passed down to me in a certain, like this. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's a nice ring. Let me add some more diamonds to it or reshape it or something. Like I just take it the way that it is. But it seems as though this text doesn't appear. It's not quite as sacred as it is utilitarian, right?
Mhm.
Um, we're gonna take it. We're gonna use it however we see fit to use it, right? And if that means that we have to color in some spaces to give that story more credence now, or take out some things, or alter some words, or look at this word this way. And I think that's kind of how we treat sacred texts. But I don't know if that makes them sacred, right? Because you just kind of do what you want to with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to bring it up. Well, let's go to chapter 24.
Okay. All right. Now Abraham was old, advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. Abraham said to his servant, the oldest of his house, who had charge of all that he had, put your hand under my thigh, and I will make you swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I live, but will go to my country and to my kindred and get a wife for my son Isaac. The servant said to him, perhaps the woman may not be willing to follow me to this land. Must I then take your son back to the land from which you came? Abraham said to him, see to it that you do not take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my birth, who spoke to me and swore to me, to your offspring I will give this land. He will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. But if the woman is not willing to follow you, then you will be free from this oath of mine. Only you must not take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the right thigh of Abraham his master and swore to him concerning this matter. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and departed, taking all kinds of choice gifts from his master, and he set out and went to Aram Naharaim to the city of Nahor. He made the camels kneel down outside the city by the well. It was toward evening, the time when women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today and show steadfast love to my master Abraham. I am standing here by the spring of water, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. Let the young woman to whom I shall say, please offer your jar that I may drink, and who shall say, drink, and I will water your camels. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. By this I shall know that you have shown steadfast love to my master. Before he had finished speaking, there was Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, coming out with her water jar on her shoulder. The young woman was very fair to look upon, a virgin whom no man had known. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, please let me sip a little water from the jar. Drink, my lord, she said, and quickly lowered her jar upon her hand, gave him a drink. When she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will draw for your camels also until they have finished drinking. So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough and ran again to the well to draw. And she drew all his camels. The man gazed at her in silence to learn whether or not the Lord had made his journey successful. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold nose ring weighing a half shekel and two bracelets for her arms weighing 10 gold shekels and said, tell me whose daughter you are. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? She said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, son of Milcah, who she bore to Nahor. She added, we have plenty of straw and fodder and a place to spend the night. The man bowed his head and worshipped the Lord and said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his steadfast love and his faithfulness toward my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on the way to the house of my master's kin. Then the young woman ran and told her mother's household about these things. Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban, and Laban ran out to the man to the spring. As soon as he had seen the nose ring, as soon as he had seen the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms, and he heard the words of his sister Rebekah, thus the man spoke to me. He went to the man, and there was he standing by the camels at the spring. He said, Come in, oh bless the Lord. Who do you stand outside? Why? Why do you stand outside when I have prepared the house and the place of the camels? So the man came in the house, and Laban unloaded the camels and gave straw and fodder to the camels and water to wash his feet and to his feet of the man who were with him. The food was set before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have told my errand. He said, Speak on. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has greatly blessed my master, and he has become wealthy. He has given him flocks and herds, silver and gold, male and female slaves, camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old, and he has given him all he has. My master made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife from my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I live, but you shall go to my father's house, to my kindred, and get a wife for my son. I said to my master, Perhaps the woman will not follow me, but he said to me, The Lord before whom I walk will send his angel with you and make your way successful. You shall get a wife from my son, from my kindred, from my father's house. Then you will be free from my oath when you come to my kindred. Even if they will not give her to you, you will be free from my oath. I came today to the spring and said, Oh Lord, God, my master Abraham. This is a long ass chapter.
Yeah.
God. I came today to the spring and said, Oh Lord, God of my master Abraham. If now you will only make successful the way I'm going, I am standing here by the spring of water. Let the young woman who comes out to draw, to whom I shall say, Please give me a little water from your jar to drink. And who will say to me, Drink, and I will draw for your camels also. Let her be the woman whom the Lord had appointed for my master's son. Before I had finished speaking in my heart, there was Rebekah coming out with her water jar on her shoulder, and she went down to the spring and drew. I said to her, Please let me drink. She quickly let down her jar from my shoulder and said, Drink, and I will also water your camel. So I drank, and she also watered the camels. Then I asked her, Whose daughter are you? She said, The daughter of Bet. Like he's like repeating
Just repeating it word for
every
word.
little thing.
So you know what
That
this is, right? You know what this is.
yes,
Okay, okay.
good grief. This is why people fall asleep when they try to read the Bible and they think it's the devil.
yeah.
Like, dang, can't even get through it. Um, Naor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. So I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her arms. Then I bowed my head and worshiped the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me by the right way to obtain the daughter of my master's kinsman for his son. Now then, if you will deal loyally and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, so that I may turn either to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered, The thing comes from the Lord. We cannot speak to you anything bad or good. Look, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be the wife of your master's son, as the Lord had spoken. When Abraham's servant heard these words, he bowed himself to the ground before the Lord. And the servant brought out jewelry of silver and of gold and garments and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave her brother and mother costly ornaments. Then he and the men who were with him ate and drank, and they spent the night there. When they rose in the morning, he said, Send me back to my master. Her brother and her mother said, Let the young woman remain with us a while, at least 10 days after. Damn, I thought it was at the end that she may go. But he said to them, Do not delay me. Since the Lord has made my journey successful, let me go, that I may go to my master. All of this so that he could marry a 3-year-old. Let me stop. They said, We will call the young woman and ask her. And they called Rebekah and said to her, Will you go with this man? She said, I will. So they went away, their sister Rebekah and her nurse, along with Abram's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, May you, our sister, become thousands of marrieds. May your offspring gain possession of the gates of their foes. Then Rebekah and her friends rose up, mounted the camels, and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went away. Now Isaac had come from Beer Lahai Roy and was settled in the Negeb. Is that where Hagar was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Isaac went out in the evening to walk in the field, and looking up, he saw camels coming. And Rebekah looked up, and when she saw Isaac, she slipped up quickly from the camel and said to the servant, "Who is the man over there walking in the field to meet us?" The servant said, "It is my master." So she took her veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Then Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent. He took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and she loved her. He loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. It is interesting, right?
Go for it.
Because okay, so the story of Isaac taking Rebekah as a wife is told twice in here, right?
Okay.
There's one that says Isaac was 40 when he married her,
Mm-hmm.
right? So is this like so the story is told um I guess from two, like this one is most likely the priestly source,
Okay.
and the other one that just talk that says that he was 40 and then he took her as a wife. I think that's the one that so Justin said there's two different times. Like there's one where someone where the calculations for Rebecca's age says that she was like 12 or 14, and
Okay.
then there's one that calculates her to being 3.
Okay.
And so what if this is if so and I guess like trying to figure out if this is like right after Rebecca, right after Sarah dies, or is this saying this happened 3 years after Sarah died too?
Yeah, I couldn't really because it just says and now. You know what I'm saying? Like so it didn't really give you a whole lot of time. It didn't tell you about the span of time at the top of the chapter.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know how they calculate time here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one is being used to say that she was 12 or 14, because the only thing I'm coming up with is that she was 3.
I don't know. I hate to speak on something I don't know, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, I do know, like, as far as the, like, this, every time I read this, it bothers me because I did do the math, right? From the time that Sarah died, from the age that Isaac was to the time that, like Genesis 25:20 says that he was 40 when he took her as a wife, right?
Okay.
So, like, so that means that, and then I think it's Genesis 20, I think it's the same one, 25. Uh, I know where I'm gonna go. There's a little, um, let me see. When Abraham is told about Rebecca's birth,
Yeah,
um,
21 or something.
I think so. Is it Genesis 20,
Let's see.
22,
22.
22? Yeah. So that we talked about that last week, I think. I think it's down here. Yeah.
But
So
22 and 23 is what it is.
yeah. So after the binding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isaac is Isaac is 37. Then it says, "Now after these things, it was told Abraham, Milcah has borne children to your brother Nahor." So, and this is where Rebecca was born, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there are two different, and they could be using this to say, okay, so after this, right? He was
Yeah.
told that Rebecca was born. Maybe Rebecca wasn't. Maybe she wasn't born here, but that's the Jewish tradition, is that she was born after the binding,
Okay. But
because she
you
couldn't.
just found.
According to them, the blessing went from Sarah to Rebecca, and that Rebecca could not be born until Sarah died. That's the Jewish tradition, and that's why she was. They believe that she was born after Sarah died.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah,
They made their heart on themselves. Um,
exactly.
you really made their heart on yourself. Because I mean, it could be the case just from reading that Rebecca was alive, probably young at this point, but alive, and they just found out about it after the binding. Because you only got 3 years. You only got 3 years between Sarah's passing and the marriage
Right.
at best, right?
Hmm.
So if she was born after that, well, no, she was alive here. But wait, if she's alive at 22, and it just says and, it's really hard to kind of, it's hard to, I don't know. It's hard to put it together. But we do know that Isaac had to be 37 when his mom died. That we know for sure because he was 90 when he was born. So he was 37 when she died at 127. And sometime in between, like this, if the tradition is she died as soon as he got back, or I don't know.
Uh, yeah, I just found why they said she could be 14. It says if Isaac was 26 years old at the time and
At what
40
time?
when he married Rebekah, then that means that Rebekah was 14 years old, except he wasn't. He would he would
Where
have
they
had to
getting
been
26 from?
26. And he would have had to been 26 at the time that he was bound on the altar.
Yeah,
So that
where they
means
getting
that
that from?
either Sarah was 100 or Sarah was 90. It really depends on how old Sarah was when she had him. So if Sarah was 90 when she had Isaac, then that means that he was 37 when he was bound on the altar.
Yeah,
If Sarah was 100 when she had Isaac, that means he was 26 when he was bound on the altar, and he
27
married
too.
her when he
Yeah,
was 40.
yeah.
So it
Okay.
depends on how old Sarah was. That's where it is. I had to look it up because I'm like, where are they getting this other age from? Because if you do the math based off of the fact of them saying that that Rebecca took the promise, like she became the promise after Sarah died, and that the promise couldn't come until Sarah died, then where were they getting these two numbers? And that's where they're getting it from. It doesn't list Sarah's age. It says she was like 90 when she got the promise to have
Which
Isaac,
got
but
the promise. Okay.
yeah, it doesn't list her age
Which actually had the
when she
boy.
had him. Yeah. So it really depends on how old Sarah was. Which
Oh,
if she
okay.
was 127
When she died.
and he was 37
Well,
when wait,
we-
he was
we- we're saying he was 37 because we're saying
now the
that
Bible
she had
says
him
he
at
was
90.
37.
Huh?
Don't the Bible say he was 37 when
The
she
Bible
when
says he was 40 when he married the girl.
but when oh okay, I get you now. So he
You
was
get what I'm saying?
when his mother died, um hold on.
It don't say how old he was when she died. But we're assuming that he was 37 because if we
Okay,
take
I
the
get
promise
yeah.
to have the boy at 90, and
Yeah.
which is true. We just kind of read that she did have the boy at 90. It doesn't actually say how old she was when she had him.
Oh, wait, it says hold on. Let me see. Genesis 17:17. Let's see. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said, can a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Can Sarah, who is 90-year old, bear a child? That's the promise. And then 21:5. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born unto him. So if Abraham was 100 still,
Wait. So
wait,
Abraham was 100
yeah. So he was a
when
hundred
he
years
was
old when they got
born,
the promise. No, when he
or
got
when they
the
got the promise.
promise. Then he was
Okay.
100 when he was born. So she was still 90.
So she's still 90. Okay, so he was
So
37.
he was freaking 37 and she was 3.
Yeah. One second. Give me just a second.
Okay.
I can still hear you. I just had to get off the camera for a second. I got to send something. Call an email real quick. And I only have this on my phone, which is crazy.
Hey, TT. Mm.
All right, and I'm back. Sorry about that, Father. Okay, got done. Okay, yeah. So if Abraham was 100, because Abraham was 100 when they got the promise that she was 90. If Abraham was still 100 when the boy was born, that means he was 37 when Sarah
That
died.
means she was still 90. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And he was Well, okay. We also have to keep in mind that if the book says that he was 40, I don't know. It's still a little blurry, but yeah, he was 37 for sure. But yeah, yeah,
Well, and then he was 60 when they had Jacob and Esau.
yeah.
And then she was 137 when she died, according to the book of Jasher, right?
Okay.
And Isaac was like 97. So she was 23 when she had him. So she had to have been three. She had to have been three, according to the book of Jasher. Because her death is like 130. She was 137 when she died. And Isaac
137.
was 97. Yeah.
Isaac was 97.
When she died, I think it said Isaac was like 97. She was 137 when she died.
Wait,
Isaac,
wait. Who was 137?
Rebecca, when she died, she was 137 years
And
old.
Isaac was 97.
Yeah.
That
I
would
mean,
make her
I mean,
older than Isaac.
71. Hold on. Yeah. She was 23. She was 23 when she had Isaac.
Abraham's son is Isaac. Am I bugging?
Jacob. What's her son name?
Okay, I was like, what? Yeah. Okay.
What's her Jacob, not Isaac.
Okay. Okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I was no, no.
Her
I was
son.
confused because I knew.
Her,
I was like, there's no way she's older than him.
no, she had the twins when she was like, okay, so they had the twins when Isaac was 60.
Okay.
According to the book of Jasher, she was 137 when she died, and Jacob was like 97 or something like that. So it turned out to be that she was 23 when she had the twins, according to the book of Jasher.
That might actually be really helpful. Let's find out exactly what it says in the Book of Judges. Hold on. Let's find out. Hold on. How old was Rebecca when she had Jacob?
No, it just has her death.
Okay. Okay. How old was Rebecca when she died? Actually, I should have asked how old was J- Jacob when Rebecca died. That's what I should have asked.
She was 133 actually. So it's Jasher 36:6.
That's what I'm looking for. All right, okay.
Why don't I thought Bible Gateway had Jasher.
It's on sacredtext.com. All right. Yeah. And it reads this. And the life of Rebecca was 133 years, and she died. And when Jacob heard that his mother, Rebecca, was dead, he wept bitterly for his mother and made great mourning for her and for Deborah, her nurse, beneath the oak. And he called the name of that place Alon Bakuth. All right. And the question is, how old was Jacob? No, no. How old was Rebecca when she had Jacob? No, no, when she had, not when she married. No, no. Jacob, when she married Jacob. No, no, not married Jacob, when she had Jacob.
So this says, according to the book of Jasher, Jacob was 99 years old when his mother died. So
According to
she
the book of
was,
Jasher.
yeah,
How old was
hold on.
she?
She was 133.
She was 133. So that means she was 34 when she had it.
So if he was 40, that means she was 14.
Wait.
Hold on. Jacob's birth was 60 years old when Jacob and Esau. Rebecca died at 136. The age of Isaac when he married Rebecca was 40, which means
Wait, wait, wait,
Rebecca
wait,
was married to
wait, wait.
Isaac for 20 years before giving birth.
She was married
Oh
to Isaac for
no.
20 years.
Yeah, it doesn't say his age. That's somebody doing a calculation.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. How old
Mm,
was Jacob when I mean, how old was Isaac when Jacob was born? 60.
Yeah, he was 60.
Okay. And wait, okay. I got this in my head. Okay. So he was 60. She was 34.
Well, we don't know that yet. That's the age we're trying to find out. So okay, so
No, no,
Jacob
she
spent.
was definitely 34. If when she died at 133,
Mhm.
Isaac was 99, that means she
No,
was
we don't
34
know he
years.
was 99. That was somebody's calculation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the book of Jasher doesn't say that was somebody's calculation. They're going by the time that Jacob spent with Laban. They're saying Jacob spent 20 years in Haran, where he worked for Laban 7 years, each for
Yeah,
Leah
enough.
and Rachel, and then an additional 6 years tending flocks. This means that he would have been 83 years old at the end of his time in Haran. Um, if Rebecca was 33 when she died and Jacob was 63 when he left, Rebecca would have died approximately 10 years into Jacob's stay, making Jacob around 73 years old at the time of her death. Therefore,
That means
based
she
on
would
the
have been
fact that
60 when
Jacob,
she had him.
yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Like we can't figure it out because everybody's trying to do different calculations. This one says that um, if we assume Rebecca was at least 20 years old when she married Isaac,
Oh, that's a bad assumption because that's what we're trying to figure out. We can't make that
yeah,
assumption. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't have. If we had Jacob's age at the time of his mother's death, like I'm pretty sure there's something in this Bible that would give us like a clue. So we know she was 133 when she died.
Okay.
We know Isaac was 60 when they had the twins. If
We
we
know he
had
was 60.
Yeah, we know he was 60. The Bible says he was 60.
Okay. And he was 40 when he married her. He was 60
40,
when they had the kids.
yeah,
Okay.
which means they waited 20 years.
Okay.
And then maybe there's something about Esau that we can find um that could tell their ages or something there's there's got to be something about Jacob that can kind of tell us like if his mother died at 133, it's got to be like I don't know. It's got to be something that'll give us like a timestamp so we can know how old Jacob was when Rebecca died. That's what we need. We need to know Jacob's age when his mama died. That way we'll or Esau's
How
age.
old was Jacob? How old was Isaac when he died?
I think Isaac was 137. Uh let me see. Oh, he was 180.
He
Genesis
lived to be
35, 28, 29.
all right, 180. All right, and we don't know how old. Okay. Okay. He lived to be a buck 80. Let me see. Okay. There should be a way to figure this out. And I feel like my math is just bothering me. Okay. He was 40 when he had these kids. No, he was 40 when he married Rebecca. He was 60 when he had the kids. Okay. All right. Which means, fuck. I'm trying to figure out how old. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna have to write it down because the numbers just kind of bouncing around in my head.
Yeah, it just doesn't like they don't even have Isaac's. We don't know Jacob's age when Isaac died either. There's nothing in here that talks about how old Jacob was when his daddy died.
Yeah.
Just odd because wouldn't he like take over? some shit? Um.
Well, Jacob had to be 120. If Jacob
Oh,
was
okay. Yeah, he had to be 120 when his dad died.
yeah he was 120 when that died because he was born when he was 60 and he lived to be 180.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. And that means if wait, so if he was 180 and Rebecca was 133 when she died. Hold on, help me figure this out. Who died first? That means she died first.
We don't know because I don't. We don't. Well, we would assume she died first. Yeah, because he was
That's a
alive when. Yeah.
47-year difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Um Shit, this is hard.
Yeah.
So he
I got to
was,
just sit down with the numbers and just put all the numbers in it that I can. Because I feel like the one number that's missing is how old she was when she gave birth. Because if we could figure out how old she was when she gave birth,
yeah,
then we we know how old she was,
yeah.
right? But we just find out when she died, so we don't, and we know she waited 20 years to have a kid,
Hmm.
right? But we don't know how old she was when that happened or none of that.
We don't know how old she was when they married.
Yeah,
Um, uh, Based on Jewish tradition, she was born. She wasn't born until Sarah died. That's their tradition, right? Um, but we don't have an age.
yeah. There's nothing in the text that we're reading says that.
Yeah,
I mean, that may be the tradition, and by implication, if that's the tradition, then she was 3.
yeah.
Yeah. By that implication, if he was 40, if he was 40 when they got married, he was 37 when his mom died and 40 when they got married. And if she wasn't born until after her mom died, then she couldn't have been older than 3.
That which is like every time I read that, like it makes me sick to my stomach because I keep trying to find. So even if she was 14, even if she was 14, still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, yeah, it's weird either way.
Yeah,
But the if by chance she was born again, this is the problem when you're trying to like because you don't have all these timestamps. And if you weave it together to say, okay, when they came down the mountain, Sarah just died. Well, we don't really have that in stone, right? There could have been time between that, blah, blah, blah. We just know that Sarah did die at 137, or no, 127. Right? How old was Sarah when she died?
she
One,
Sarah was 133. No,
133.
Sarah was 127. Rebecca was
127. Yeah.
133.
Yeah. So 127. Yeah. So, but if that means we know he was 37 because he was definitely born the same year that the promise was given. So between 36 and 37, depending on what day of the week it was. Um, and then we know that he married her 3 years later. Well, 3 years later, right? So he married her at 40. If she was born, if the timeline works just like that, like if they came down the mountain and Sarah was dead, 127, he 37, he marries this girl at uh at 40, and the girl ain't born until after Sarah dies, then she's 3. Or if the baby had been born before that time, um, and they just found out that she was born that late, then she could have been 12. Anywhere between 12 and 14.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it gives enough unless we're missing some numbers somewhere. I don't think it gives us enough numbers about the. I don't think we have enough information to deduce absolutely, but I mean, on a plain reading, if she's born, you know, at the time right after the binding, then she's 3.
Let's say if she let's say she was 10, right? Then if he waited 3 years, right, and after his mother died
Yeah,
to marry her, then you're looking at 13.
looking at 13-year-old, he's 40. It's weirdo behavior, but it's weird either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little more common, I should say, if
Hmm.
she was 13. A little more common, but still weird.
Yeah. Yeah. But the crazy thing is like the Jewish tradition, they for some reason there's like their belief is that this is some divine continuing of the promise, and that it's like uh Rebecca had to enter the world. Like she couldn't be already in the world. She had to into the world to replace Sarah to continue the divineness of the promise.
Makes
So
it a bit
that like
weird.
there's belief.
That's a
Uh-huh.
bit weird, but okay. Not my monkey, not my circus. You get what I'm saying? Not my monkey, not my circus. But okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of every time I read that, like I can't stop thinking about that. And I sometimes I be like, I wish I had never done the math on that.
Yeah.
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 Because and then like when a lot of Christian men come on and they argue against this, they say she could carry water, you know.
Yeah.
She could feed the camels. And it's like what like the other day I saw a freaking video of a 6-year-old little girl from Palestine carrying her 3-year-old sister on her back who had been injured. And she looked
Yeah.
like she was hauling like she wasn't struggling for shit. And I'm like, you saying like in the ancient times in antiquity that a 3-year-old carrying a pail of water and feeding your donkeys, it means that she's 20? Like, have you
Yeah.
seen the little kids in Africa, right? Carrying
Yeah.
the uh baskets on their heads, like doing work at a young age. Like saying that, oh, she carried a pail of water to feed some donkeys means that she was a grown woman. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that it's two different traditions, and one of them is just and it's really just about if
Sarah's
Isaac was
age.
26 when it happened, or if he was 37 when it happened.
For him to be 26, Sarah would have had to been 100 when she had him. But she was 90 when she got the promise. If she was, and Abraham was 100 when he got the promise. If Abraham was 100 when Sarah had Isaac, that means Sarah was still 90. She wasn't 100. So
Yeah.
he couldn't have been 26
Yeah. Yeah.
unless Abraham didn't age and Sarah did. And they ended up being 100 together. That's the, I mean, it's magic, you know.
Yeah.
Everything that
Yes.
Yahweh does is magic. Like today, somebody said, they were talking about Noah's Ark, and when you were on there
I was on
on
the yeah.
Medla's Live, and the guy said, you guys forget that we're talking about God and the magic of it all. And I'm like, bro, like you cannot use
Yeah,
magic
once
for the
you appeal
things.
to magic, it's like, all right, fuck it then, man. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, dog.
God, everything is possible with God because it's magic.
Because it's magic. Yeah, yeah. Once you appeal to magic, it's like, all right, say whatever you want to say at this point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, either this is a very, very specific claim, right? I googled this again, and you asked, how old was Rebecca when she married Jacob, and one of
Mhm.
them says, of course, that she was 14 when she married Isaac, and that's because they would, they saying he was 26 when he was bound to the altar, but that don't make sense.
Mhm.
And then the other one says 3 years and 3 days, and that's a very specific.
What?
I just want to say. There was, according to another Midrashic
Where did he get
tradition,
3 days from?
bro. I'm finna pull the link up right here. Here's the link. Hold on.
Hold on, can you share your screen?
Now, keep in mind, I'm just on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
okay, okay,
I'm not on
okay.
my computer. Let me see what I can do. Let me see. Um,
They literally said 3 years and 3 days.
which is a very, very specific thing to say. Let me see if I can pull it up. No, no, not that one. Not that one. So, wait, why is this so small? Wait, no, traditions. 3 years, 3 days is crazy. That's just too much to read. I'm gonna pull it up for you though. I will pull it up for you again. See, and they keep saying that he was. I'm trying to figure out how they get in 26. I don't understand how that happened at 26.
Because if she was 100, like they're trying to say that the promise wasn't fulfilled for another 10 years because she got the promise when she was 90.
Yeah.
Sarah did, right?
Yeah.
She was 90 when the God said that she was going to have a child.
Yeah.
So what for them to say that she was 26, I mean that he was 26 when she died, they're saying that the promise didn't happen for 10 years and that she had Isaac when
Okay.
she was
And then where they
100.
getting that from? Where they
I
making
don't
that?
know where they wishful hoping because the book literally says that Abraham was 100 when Isaac was born. So he got the promise at 100. He was born when Abraham was 100. So there's no way Sarah aged 10 years before she had him.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, he was 100 years old. Let me go. Let's just read it. Let me just put that to rest. I just need to read it for myself. That's Genesis 21, right?
Yeah.
Because they keep saying 26. I'm like, where y'all getting that number from? All right. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the time set of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called him Isaac. But no, that's supposed to say, you don't, but it don't say, and Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him.
Yeah.
Abraham was 100.
So then Sarah he was 100 when he got the promise
Yep.
and he was 100 when his son was born. So that
Yep.
means no
Same year.
time passed, same year.
Yep. Same year.
So
Yeah,
that means that Sarah was 90 when she got the promise. That
yep.
means
And
Sarah
90
was
when she
90
had
when
when
she
she had
had
the boy.
him. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like the wishful hoping of her being 100 and he being 26, that's just wishful hoping.
Unless they saying that it was 10 years after the binding that she died, and I don't know where they would get that from.
She was 127 when she
You know what I'm saying?
died.
So he would have been 37, but unless they saying that it was 10 years that the binding thing happened 10 years before she died. Because that's the only way I could even see how he would have been 26 when that happened. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. But he married her 3 years after she died though. Cuz it says that he was comforted. Like he when he went into her that comforted him.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah. So yeah, it would seem like it would have been closer. It would have been closer than yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. I feel like I chased that rabbit long enough. I don't know.
If it just like bothers your brain and you figure it out, please let me know
Yeah, I'm,
because
I'm gonna dig more into because I really just need to just like I'm blown because I feel like everybody's saying 26 as if 26 is a thing, and
Mhm.
you get what I'm saying? Like people are posting 26 like that's a thing. Where are they getting that it took 10 years for that to happen?
Yeah.
Right? If
Yeah.
Abraham was 100 when he got the promise, and he was 100 when he had the boy, that was
Mhm.
the same year.
Same year.
And she
Yeah.
was 90 when she got the promise. That means she was 90. No, I mean, she could have been 91 depending on how much time took place. But anywhere between 90 and 91,
Mhm.
right? Because her birthday could have been before Abraham's. You get what I'm saying? Um, but she couldn't have been no older than 91. Yeah.
It's got to be something in here that'll give us more clues. I'm gonna keep looking too, but
Yeah.
so far everything points to her being a little giant.
Yeah. I mean, she's a
And
little
then,
child either way, but a
but
bit more.
I'm talking about Aisha little.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, yeah. She's been prepubescent
Yeah.
the other way. Yeah.
What
But
ain't that her
yeah,
name, Aisha?
Aisha, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Aisha little. Yeah.
She's been younger than Aisha at that point. Aisha was 6.
I thought Aisha was 3. Aisha was 6.
Aisha was 6.
Oh my
They consummated when she was 9. Yeah. So Aisha was 6 when she got married.
I
And this would have
cannot.
been
I
3. It's great.
Oh my god, I cannot. Anything else about this chapter that you find that we need to discuss? Because this
Other
chapter
than just
disgusts
the
me.
classic duplicate, you know what I'm saying? You see that he comes in and just quotes the whole story again, right? Which is a duplicate, right? Like I
Mm.
said, there's no reason for him to come in and say all those fucking words. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been much easier to just say, and he repeated the story, of what happened, or he told him all the things, blah 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 blah. So that comes off as a duplicate to me. It's just two different traditions, and those stories vary not much. They pretty much word for word, but they vary a little bit. So they're probably just two different traditions as to how they tell it.
I think it's interesting. Like first, okay, so Abraham was giving his servant his freedom for doing this, even if he didn't find a wife, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, the Lord, he's like, the angel of the Lord is going to go before you, is going to guide you. And he's like, even if they don't give her to you, you'll still get your freedom.
Well, no, he said he'd be free from that oath.
What oath?
The oath that he just made him swear. He just made him swear oath that he go get my boy. Go get my boy a wife and make sure that they come from my people. And the only way you'll be free from the oath is if they like go get my boy a wife, right? If you don't get one from my people, then you're free from the oath. You don't have to get them one. Now
I
they'll
thought
say he'd be
he.
free from his slavery. Remember, he swore an oath that he would get him a wife. He put his hand under his right thigh,
Oh, okay. I
right?
thought he was going to give him his freedom.
Oh no,
Oh,
no, ma'am, Pam. No. He took an oath that he would get him a wife, and he swore that he wouldn't take him back home. I did want to say that one thing. I think it's really weird. Well, not really weird, but just like to be noted that he made him swear, "Do not take my boy back home. Don't take him back up there." But he also made him swear, "Don't let him marry nobody down here." Right. So the people's land was good. He just didn't fuck with the people on the land, and he felt the other way about the folk where he from. Right? Like I don't want him in that land, but the people are good. Right? And then down there it was like I don't want him with these people, but the land are good. The land is good. I just thought that was
yeah,
weird.
that
Yeah.
is weird. And
Because I
then
mean,
so,
you made this man swear, do not promise me you will not take him back home. What's so bad about being at home?
like, and then why is he making him promise that? Did Abraham think that he'd be dead by the time the servant came back with a wife?
I'm guessing, maybe. Maybe. No.
Was he
Took 3 years.
gone
He
for
was
three
pretty up in
years?
age.
Was he gone for 3 years?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Now
Man, you
Abraham
got to
was
imagine
old,
he
he
didn't take
advanced
a
in
plane.
years.
He had to actually walk there, right? So it wasn't like a quick trip.
Like why? Like why? So okay. So he was old. He's advancing years. So now he was what? If she was 130, 127, he was 137.
He was 137.
Okay,
How old was he when he died?
Abraham. I think he said. Um,
175. So he lived quite some time.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wonder why he said, "Don't take my son back to that place." Like, if you don't find a wife, don't take my son back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
did Isaac go with them? Isaac didn't go with them.
I just didn't go with him. He was at the house in his mama tent.
I don't know. Maybe Abraham thought that by the time he got back, he'd be dead. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that's what it
I
was.
mean,
Like,
if you
in
already a
case I'm
buck
dead.
37 and your
Yeah,
wife just died,
yeah, yeah.
maybe you thought you might die of a broken heart.
Why you at the broken?
I know a couple that died like that. The first church that we ever went to, it was they was from Tennessee, as a matter of fact, the Hawkins, and Bishop Hawkins and his wife. We just called her Mother Hawkins, but she died first, and I promised within like 2 months he was dead, and
Oh
everybody just
dear.
said he died because his heart was broke.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like within 2 months he was gone.
I don't know. Maybe that's what the author was trying to convey. But yeah.
But I mean, he lived another 40 years almost. Right here,
Hmm.
Abraham did. Abraham lived because if he was 137, he lived 38 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess this story just like I don't know.
All right, because didn't he marry Keturah after this?
Yep.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that like some people some people say that that was just his way of going back and getting Hagar and just renaming her.
Oh, well, damn.
But Hagar would have had to have been like 100 and I don't know. It doesn't say Hagar's age either. Maybe she was still young. But he married her, had more children, right?
Yeah,
And but they say that he some people, some uh traditions say that Keturah was just Hagar and they just renamed her. Said that Abraham really loved Hagar and he didn't want to send Hagar away, but it was Sarah that wanted to send her away.
well,
Yeah.
Abraham need to sit his old hunching ass down. How he ain't slip a disc in his back is important to me. I would that needs to be studied.
At 147 years old, still fucking,
Hunch,
I don't know.
still
Yeah.
out there, flat back. Yeah, yeah, that's impressive.
Stories be weird. Yeah. But
Wow.
also like he as soon as he like the servant is like, hey, here's everything that's happened. Here's the wife I got you. Isaac takes her immediately into his mother's tent and makes her his wife. Like there's no courting here, right? And
Right.
then it's like all of a sudden, I think this is what shows what's supposed to be like the divineness in Rebecca is like she automatically knew. Like they're trying to portray like, oh, she was willing to go, like she didn't put up a fight. They gave her a choice. Like she automatically knew. And when she saw Isaac from
Yeah.
afar off, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the divineness that the Jewish tradition draws upon to say that Sarah had to die first, like the sun had to go down on Sarah first before it could Rebecca could come in. I forgot what scripture they used to justify that. I have to look it up. But I think also because it kind of shows that Rebecca just knew and she was just willing to go. There was no fight. There was no fight from the family. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
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 That was her being
Uh,
chosen.
Also, I just want to throw this out there. Because a lot of times people talk about fornications and things like that. I do want to let it be known that what he did was he took her into the tent and she became his wife. Right? They
Hmm.
didn't get married.
Right.
Right? Like they didn't have a wedding or anything. Right? He took her into the
Hmm.
tent and she became his wife.
Which
Right?
means
Like
he just had sex with her.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said there was no courting or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
if any text in this Bible proves that marriage is not what we think or what we practice today, it's that one.
That
It-
one. Or at least the
yeah.
fornication ain't what we think it is.
Well, yeah.
Right? 'Cause, yeah. Or marriage, but yeah, at least fornication.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. And then also before he took the land, Abraham had all of this wealth. That's one thing too, that the God gave him all of that wealth
Yeah.
prior to them taking the land. It's just weird. It's just weird. But this is all the wealth he got from pimping out Sarah, and now she's dead of a broken heart because he tried to sacrifice her only child to a gashi. Yeah. Okay. I'm done. You done?
That's
You
mostly
done?
traumatizing what it is. Yeah, no, I'm good
Huh?
on that. But I enjoyed this. This was great.
Yeah. I enjoyed it too. All right, y'all. Hey, Mama Bash. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for episode 13. Another great episode. Don't forget to share, hit the subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. Until next week, I'll see y'all later.
All right, brother.
Bye.